Okay, so in module 2 we will see different what is software development life cycle, what is software testing life cycle, and in addition to that we will see what are the different software models that are presently used in the market, and what is the most used software model that is there in the market. In addition to these different software models, we will see component testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. After that, we will see what are functional, non-functional testing, what are structural testing, and what is retesting and regression testing, and how to maintain a test. Okay, good to go.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so here we will see what is software development model. So, which is nothing but software development life cycle. This is the acronym for SDLC, for software development life cycle. So basically, it is a process followed by a software project by software professionals within a software organization. It is consist of a detailed plan describing how to develop, maintain, replace, and alter or enhance any specific software. The life cycle defines a methodology for improving the quality and the overall process of software development. So this is the diagram of a basic software development life cycle. First, we have planning here at 12 o'clock. Then we have defining, then designing, then building, testing, and at the last we have deployment. So planning, as it means plan. So we plan everything what we are going to do in the whole process of software development and testing. So when I say software development, by default it will involve testing. When I will say it segregately, then it will be different. So here in SDLC, we plan everything about the software development process. We plan about uh, what what are the details, what are the domain, what are the language that we are going to use, what will be the structure, what will be the model that we need to follow in this one for this particular project. Then we will define it. Defining means we will document it. So we will write each and everything what we have planned with the customer. We will define it means we will document it, get it reviewed and approved by the customer. After that, we will make a design. So before making any building, you make a design, right? According to which you start building it. You'll start adding the pilings, pillars, and bricks. So in the similar manner, before actually building the software project, we design a framework. So if you search on net, you will find there are certain framework for designing any project. So if you are using Java code to design it, there are Spring framework. If you are using Python for that particular language, there is another kind of framework. So all kind of designing will be done here. So basically, give me a moment. Basically, it will give you a blueprint how to proceed further. So in building section, we actually start building the project. Means the coding will be done by the developers. Later, we have testing, where the actual roles of tester will be defined. Testers will come in role. Then we have deployment. Then after that, if everything is fine, no bugs is there to be fixed, then we can deploy it. Okay. So this is the whole software development life cycle. Any question? Any query? All good?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see how these phases are implemented in actual life in detail. So first stage is planning. So here, including in addition to planning, we do a requirement analysis. Let's read it out first. So requirement analysis is the most important and fundamental stage of software development lifecycle. It is performed by senior members of the team with input from the customer. In addition to the customer, sales department who brought the customer to you will be also involved in that particular requirement analysis, and a market survey and a market surveyor. Let's say there are certain market surveyor, that is the marketing team. So both the marketing team from the customer and our organization will be involved there to give their input. So here what will happen, market surveyor and sales department will bring the customer, specifying that we will provide you certain level of project in certain amount. Then market surveyor, what will do, they will keep an eye on market. So where the so from the customer side there will be the marketing team that will just look for whether any other company is giving me the same level of project in some less amount. So basically, these two market surveyors will keep an eye on the market to analyze and keep the hold of customer. Then we have domain experts. So depending upon the customer's requirement, let's say if the requirement of customer is rated to a banking domain, then we will have a banking expert, expert in the banking domain from our side, who can easily understand the requirement and guide us further. So basically, it in the first phase, planning and requirement, all these people, senior people, will do a meeting together, try to get an inputs, all the inputs from the customer, and they will convey the message that we will implement it in such a way that you will be able to fulfill all your requirements. Okay. So this information then used to plan the basic project approach and to conduct project product feasibility study in the economical, operational, and technical areas, including the quality assurance and risk. So all these people will discuss all these points. What is the economicals mean? The money thing. What is operational, which means how it is going to be used. What are the technical areas? So if it is depending upon the domain, they will decide the technical areas. So if it is a kind of any hardware is involved in that particular project, so then we will use low machine level languages. So if you are aware, object level languages are different and machine level languages are different. So any electronic equipment that you use, they have some kind of language involved in it while developing it. So if you are using washing machine or micro oven or any smart TV, there is some kind of programming that is there involved in at the back end. So depending upon the project, the language is decided which language is used. So generally, if there is any hardware involved, we go for C and C++, those type of machine level languages. If that it is a web application, we can go ahead with C Sharp, Java, or Python or other languages. Okay. So here we will also discuss what are the quality parameters that we need to take care while developing the project, and what are the risks that we should also identify and manage. Okay. So this is all about the first stage, that is planning, in which we do requirement analysis. Then we have stage two. Give me a moment. Sorry, these kids, it's they are very tough to handle. Okay. So second stage is the defining the requirements. So here we create a detailed SRS document, that is a software requirement specification document, which is created, which consists all the product requirement that needs to be designed and developed during the project life cycle. We create it and get it reviewed and approved by the customer, right? So basically, in designing, we document everything, and that particular document is called SRS document, which means stands for Software Requirement Specification Document.
Specification.
So if anything that went wrong, or you need to validate anything while doing your testing, the document that you will refer is the SRS document. So if the requirement mentioned in the SRS document is being fulfilled by the code that is shared by the developer, then we are good to go. If it is not fulfilling the requirement, then you can report it. Okay. The next stage is designing. So here we design the product architecture. So let's read out. SRS is the reference for the product architect to come out with a best architecture for the product. So based on the requirement specified in the SRS document, one or more than one design is proposed to the customer, and that is reviewed and approved by the there one or more design that will be proposed by the architects, and that will be reviewed and approved by the customer. So design means a framework kind of thing, which we discussed, that we make a framework. So let's say certain web application can be developed using Java, and certain can be developed, and the same project can be developed using Python language. But so if you are using Java, you need to have, like, Java, you need to write some more lines of code with respect to Python. So if you need to perform certain action in Java, you need to write 5 lines of code, but in Python you can do the same thing in 2 lines. So depending upon the requirement of architect will design a framework and propose it to the customer. So what will happen if the customer is have money in the bag and they want to hire more people, then they will go with the Java framework. Otherwise, if they want things to be done in a more easy and efficient way with less amount of people, then we will go with the Python
Okay.
framework. Okay.
Mm.
So the next stage is building software, building and developing the product. So that in the building stage, we actually start coding. Programmers start coding, and they just produce the prototype. After that, if it is approved, they will continue further. So in building, we just developers are involved, and they start coding and building the project depending upon the design that has been approved and provided to them. Then we have testing the product. So here we will do the actual testing, right? So I think it is self-explanatory. This particular stage, we do the testing. We try to find out all the bugs and whether the developed build is fulfilling all the requirements or not. And at the sixth stage, we will deploy it, and further we will maintain it. Once the product is tested and ready, and it is bug free, we can release it to market. And once it is released into market, we can hand it over to the maintenance team to look forward going on. So this is how any software in the market is developed. Each and every software industry is following this SDLC, software development model, and everyone is going through these phases of software development lifecycle. Okay. So there are different types of software development models in software development lifecycle. So the first one is waterfall, which is also called the sequential model. Then we have iterative model. Then we have spiral model. Then we have V model. So in addition to that, we will also see agile model. It is not mentioned in the syllabus that has been shared by ACT guys, but it is very important one. In the present market, it is the most used model that is there in the present market, present software industry. It will be similar to the iterative model, but it is a bit different from it. We'll see at the end. Okay, so let's start with the waterfall model. So as you can see, it is in the form of stair. It will start from the top and it will come back down in the form of steps. So in the hilly area, if you see the land, like if you went to Ooty, you must have went to Ooty and Kerala. So you will find that the agriculture fields will be in in this form only. Like they will, it will be in the
Okay.
stair form. Why it is developed in that particular form? Because once the rainfall will be at the hilltop, it will be slided down to the end. Like you don't have to worry about the watering your plants in those kind of fields. So following the staircase model, as you can see, the waterfall is falling one by one to each and every level, fulfilling the requirements. So it is based on the same model. First, requirement will be done, requirement analysis. Then we have design, then development, the testing, then deployment, and after that, maintenance. Okay. So the main benefit of this particular model is, I'm just giving you, we will see all the advantages and disadvantages of each and every model. So the main benefit of this particular model is it is very easy and it is one by one. You don't have to worry about each and everything. First requirement is done, then design. Here all the documents will be created and you just have to refer it. The main disadvantage is it is step by step. So test when it comes to testing, once the whole project is developed, then we will start testing, right? And once it is tested properly, then only we can deploy it. Now let's say my product is developed here in the third stage, and in the fourth stage it is sent for testing, and I found any bug. Then in that case I will have to send it back to this previous stage, which is not possible, right? So
That's
again,
required.
yeah, so we have to go back to the requirements analysis main, and then one by one we will come
We
for
have to
again.
test.
So it is a very uh, rigorous method, and it's requires a lot of time and money. You cannot. It is such a kind of method. Like you cannot have more than two resources in your project because it is one by one, right? So one or two resources. If you have one or two resources, then it is fine. If you have everything that is not going to change in near future, then you can go ahead with it. If you have like you don't need to provide any update in near future, then you can go ahead with it. If you have any updates in near future, you will not going to use it. So again, after testing, deployment phase will be there, and if it failed in deployment, again it need to go back to the first stage, and again it will go down. Okay, and after that the maintenance. Let's see here in details. So waterfall model involves a sequential approach to software development where each phase of the project is completed before moving to the next one. So here we have requirement gathering analysis. The first phase involves gathering the requirement for customers or stakeholders and analyzing them to understand the scope and objective of the project. What is the basic need of the customer? Then we have design. Once the requirements are understood, the design phase begins. This involves creating a detailed document and outline the architecture, software architecture. So here we create a framework and we also design the user interface and the system components. So this is nothing, user interface and system components come into the framework and architecture. So we will see one by one. User interface is the UI, like whatever you
Explain.
see, whatever see with your eye is the UI, user interface. So this particular page is UI. So if you can open anything on browser, that is UI. User can interact to the elements present on that particular application. So here, as you can see, I can, these are the elements: username, password, login button, forgot password, orange HRM link. So I can do some interaction with this particular elements, right? So this is UI, and anything that is present on any application is called web elements, right? So this is a web application. You are okay, like you are okay with web application and mobile application, right? So
Yes.
anything that can open, that can access on a web browser is a web application. Anything that can access via mobile browser, it is a mobile application or mobile platform. Whether it is kind of application or browser application, it is a mobile application. Okay. So basically what I mean to say, web, which means any application which has HTTPS written in front of it, that is a web application, right? Whether it is a mobile, and if it is accessed on the mobile, there will be a different version of this web application in front of it. You will just add M and it will take you to the mobile version of this particular web application. Okay. So this is the UI, and
Yeah.
all these elements are called web elements. Each and everything, whether it is a login icon, whether it is a logo, these all, everything that is you can see is termed as web element. Then we have development and the system components. So system components means, so let's say uh, you have chosen Java. Then for Java, what are the tools that you need to have? So the widely used tool is this Eclipse. It's the IDE. So IDE stands for, I'm forgetting the full form, Integrated Development Environment. So this is the environment where you write code. So Eclipse, there are different IDE present in the market, like IDE, Microsoft Visual Studio. Then we have uh, Amazon IntelliJ. So there are different types of IDE present in the market. So IntelliJ, this is produced by Amazon and provided by Amazon. Eclipse, it is developed. Eclipse is a different organization. It is handled by them. Then we have Microsoft Visual Studio, that is handled by Microsoft. Then we have, there are many. Let me just show you. So you can always refer to these blogs if you want to learn more. So here we have my Visual Studio provided by Microsoft, IntelliJ, this then Xcode, then Android Studio whenever you are dealing with Android applications, AWS, Cloud9. So this is Amazon one. This is Eclipse. This is Zen Studio, PHP Storm. This will come in figure whenever you are using PHP language, and there are many. So mainly these three will be used: Eclipse, IntelliJ, or Microsoft Visual Studio. And in rare case, you will see Amazon's one. Okay, so these kind of system components will be decided and mentioned in the SRS document, and further it based on which an architecture will be developed for the development team. So here in the development phase, depending upon the design that they have created, they will start coding, and here we will do unit testing. So once a small piece of code is developed, we test that code, and mainly it is done by the developer only. They just validate whether it is being fulfilled or not, whether the requirement is being fulfilled with the build or the module that they have developed. So unit testing will be done in the development phase only. Not like it is not mandatory that it will be done by developer. It can be done by a tester only, because let's say if I have a strict deadline, then with in collaboration with the development team, we will also assign a tester to perform unit testing. Okay, so in testing phase, any question? Okay, so then we have testing phase. Here we normally test the develop build shared by the developer. After that, we deploy it, and after that, we maintain it. Okay, so I think we are good to go with the maintenance term.
Yes, that is
Yeah. Any
the
kind of
taking
issue.
care of the project.
Yeah. Any kind of issues or problem occurs in the project while using it, then it will be sent back to the maintenance team to fix it. Okay. So then we have what are the advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model? So here mainly there are few advantages. So waterfall model works well for smaller project and where requirements are well understood and fixed. So if it is fixed, it is not going to change in future. We can easily follow it. Again, easy to understand, clearly defined stages. So everything is predefined in which stage what activities need to be done. Then we can use it. Easy to arrange tasks. So here, what will happen? Here, requirements will be done. Let's say this month is September. I have given a project, deliver it, and I have to use waterfall model. Then in normal software industry, uh, in present software industry, what they will do? They will start hiring each and every resource for each and every phase in the beginning only. But when you are using waterfall model, they will first hire the senior team to do all the requirement analysis and design everything. Then after that they will hire developers. So let's say they took a month. So took a month to understand the requirement and designing everything. Then what if they would have hired developers in the beginning, then it is going to cost them. So to save cost, they will hire the developer at this particular phase. Similar with the testing team, they will establish a testing team after this particular phase, and after that the deployment, which is again a combination of testing team and everyone involved, and at the end maintenance team will be there. So once this particular phase pass, deployment phase pass, there will be no use of these teams, or few people will be required to maintain it. So many company just what they do, they just release the developer or testers. So if you are in a big MNCs, they will be assigned to a different project. If you're a small company and they are following waterfall model, be careful with them. They might fire you after the project is complete. Okay. So if anyone says that we are using waterfall model and the size of company is very less, let's say 200, then your job is at risk. Once their project is will pass deployment, they might fire you if they don't have any other project. Okay. So the next is everything will be well processed and well documented. Each and every step after each and every phase, you have to write a detailed document and submit it. It's like just like a documentation that happens everywhere. The next one is disadvantage. So there are mostly disadvantage in waterfall model. So if there is any change request, then we cannot accommodate it. So as you can see, we have made the design with the specified requirement in the beginning only, and at the development, if the customer comes and say that please add this particular function, then we will not do that. So because it will be, if customer is ready to uh, bear the cost, we will adjust that. Otherwise it is not okay for this particular model to accommodate any new change. uh, then we have late defect detection, which means defects are figured out at the later stage, only in testing stage. So again, it is going to cost us some money. Again, if there is any defect detected, we have to go back to requirement analysis and refer the document design, and then developer will do that. So each and every phase and people will review it whether it is a proper defect or not, as per the SRS document. If it is, then it will go back to development. Again, tester will not have any work to do because the whole product will be sent back. Whole project will be sent back to development team to fix that particular bug. Okay. Okay. Then we have limited stakeholder involvement. This is a very important thing. Stakeholder involvement should be there in your project. That is not only going to help the customer, but it also going to help the organization, the company for which you're working. So mainly it is for value creation. Once everything is transparent for the customer, he will also get an assurance that things are okay. Things are in front of his eyes. So he get an assurance that things are going well. So what happens in the first stage only requirement analysis, the involvement of customer will be gone. After SRS document is created, reviewed and approved from the customer, there will be no involvement of customer. So it is not clear to the customer until this particular deployment stage finished. What is the product? How it is done? So if the customer is not happy with the project or product that you have delivered in deployment stage, then again that is a loss of value creation. You have not created enough value for the customer. So everything will, in this particular model, you have to be very careful that each and every thing should go with the without any problem, or it should be of 100% quality. So that's why it is not preferred by many customers in the present market. They will not have a visibility what's going to with their project. So it is not suitable for complex project, which means where it's, let's say it is a banking thing. So RBI in India might poses some new rule in between. So it becomes complex, right, to accommodate new security settings. Then in that case, it is not suitable. Not working so No working software is produced until the late during the life cycle. Until the deployment stage, the, the, there is no software that you can use. High amount of risk and uncertainty. Like I said, it is uncertain for the customer what is being happening, and if anything happens in the deployment phase, if there is any risk that is produced here, then again you have to go back, and mainly it is uh, cost is concerned, money is concerned. So basic that's the main reason we avoid it in the present market. If it is the requirements are fixed, you don't need to change anything, then we are good to go. Okay, so this is all about waterfall model. Any question?
Mm.
Okay, then question from my side: why we will not use waterfall model?
Because it's like a lengthy process. And then if there is a defect or any fault, we have to come from the beginning. We have to check all the steps and we have to do any modifications or something. We have to check step by step.
Mhm.
We cannot stop the, like it's time consuming and money, it also takes much.
Yeah.
Like testing step by, we have to give back to the developer and we have to
Mhm.
assess the requirements and details, so many things like that.
Okay, so the main disadvantage that you should highlight in an interview is this too.
Difficult or only change. We can't change anything.
Yeah, we can have, if there is a change request to add any new feature in the project, we cannot do that. And limited stakeholder environment. Okay, so these two are the main, and where we will use it.
Small projects like where there is minimal coding and then when the
No, no,
requirement is very fixed at that
minimal
time.
code. Yeah, this keyword is wrong.
Requ-
Minimal coding is
uh,
should not be used.
okay, the requirement is fixed.
Hmm?
If there is any no change in the requirements or thing, we can go for this waterfall model. When the project is very small, it's not complex, lengthy project. No, at that time we can use this waterfall model.
Okay. Okay. What happens in design phase?
Not
What happens in design phase? In this.
design. Design means like in this phase we are going to decide what